When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful. These are the words of a 22-year-old Pakistani. The words of a globally recognized heroine who was shot by the Taliban, all in order to promote the values of equality and opportunity. Welcome to the 2020 Harmony Week Youth Forum. My name is Yianni from the High School of Blakehurst, standing here today to speak about an individual who has stood up for us throughout her whole life. Malala Yousafzai is the youngest Nobel Peace Prize winner to date and author of I Am Malala. Throughout her life, this passionate figure has always strived to raise awareness of the inequality for females and the levels of violence which children are exposed to in Pakistan. The novel I Am Malala expands upon a number of aspects of her life and how both these cultural issues are having large impacts on youth such as ourselves across the globe. Equality for females, a topic which even in an age of acceptance is still not upheld by all members of society. The ability to have the same opportunities and rights as any other human being, and therefore establishing a sense of self-importance and belonging, was and still is one of Malala's current objectives within this world. An example throughout the text of where this cultural issue is prominent is in chapter 2, where Malala recalls a long history of inequality amongst females throughout her family, with her aunties deprived of an education and other so-called privileges. Through the use of a hyperbole when referring to the luscious breast meat of the chicken, which was only enjoyed by the male members of the family, the author is successful in showcasing how ill-treated and deprived of equality females are, where even a certain portion of chicken is greatly appreciated and secluded for the enjoyment of males. The theme of inequality is further reiterated through the constant contrast and repetition utilized between males and females, as shown in the extract. When my father was given cream with his tea, his sisters would be given only tea. If there were eggs, they'd only be for the boys. This line further emphasizes the distinction between the culturally accepted rights between the two genders, and how the acts themselves were so repetitive that they were adopted into tradition. Being a young male individual myself, with two younger sisters whom I care for and respect, I'm quite disgusted by the mistreatment which girls my age and younger are exposed to. Education, freedom, both basic rights, stripped from over 57.3 million children across the globe. Living in the lucky country that we do, many of us are fortunate enough to lead relatively peaceful lifestyles, free from violence and trauma. Throughout the course of the novel, Malala outlines the confronting realities which children in Pakistan are constantly exposed to, an aspect of life which is embedded within them from young. This is demonstrated when Malala recounts seeing her father watching a video on his phone, spread throughout the media, depicting a teenage Pakistani girl beat to death by members of the Taliban. Throughout the excerpt, a series of emotive language is present whilst describing the horrid incident, including words such as flogged, whimpered, and held down. By doing this, Malala is successful in using pathos to evoke a sense of empathy and absolute appall from the audience, vividly describing the oppressing fates which Pakistani teenagers are faced with. Reading this paragraph, I'm sure each of you have reflected upon your own position within society and how an act of such would never be allowed nor accepted by bystanders, let alone promoted over social media by whole communities. As Australian youth, it is clear to us that violence against anybody is unacceptable. Malala has demonstrated that this issue continues to thrive throughout our world, and that awareness must be risen in order to abolish these disgraceful enactments. Overall, I recommend that the novel I Am Malala should not only be read, but practiced by all. Conveying matters such as female inequality and violence through real-life experiences, we are able to grasp a heightened overview of our world and which issues must be addressed. Harmony Week symbolizes inclusiveness, diversity, and overall respect. As the youth of our nation, each of us are responsible for helping support and continue to inspire others of the aims and values of Malala. When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful.